Hello everyone. Welcome to the new session of Introduction to Agrometeorology. That is the third part. In this part, we are going to study about the temperature. So, the hotness or coldness of a substance is called temperature. So, when we study about the temperature, we note down how much a substance is hot or cold. So, it is measured with the help of a device which is called as a thermometer. So ordinary thermometer consists of a hollow glass. So it is like a hollow glass, right? And it is having a capillary, right? And it is having a bulb-like structure. A bulb-like structure. Like this. Okay. And it is also having a scale. It is also having a scale. So, ordinary thermometer consists of a hollow glass bulb attached to a narrow stem with the thread-like bore. So, here is the figure of a thermometer. So, bulb is filled with a liquid, which is usually mercury. So, this is an element which is in the liquid form, but also alcohol when very low temperature needed to be measured. Very low temperature. So, question can be asked on this. What the bulb should be filled with when you have to record the temperature of at a very low level or a very low temperature. So at that time, our bulb must be filled with the alcohol. So which expand when the temperature rises and contracts when the temperature falls. So according to the expansion and contraction, this liquid flow in this capillary tube, and there is having a scale that we note down and know the temperature, right? So most temperature scale today are expressed in the degrees Celsius. Commonly, most temperature scales today expressed in degrees Celsius. Although one will sometimes see Fahrenheit is also in use, right? So Celsius scale is fixed by the 2 points, the freezing points and the boiling point of the water, right? So the freezing point of the water, that is around 0 degrees centigrade, and the boiling point of water, that will be around 100 degrees centigrade respectively. Okay, and this is recorded at the normal atmospheric pressure. Hmm? Okay, the scale is then divided into 100 units. The scale which is present on the thermometer has been divided into 100 units. 0 is equivalent to 30 degree Fahrenheit. This is very, very important. 0 degree centigrade is equivalent to, that is on the degree Celsius scale, and when the same temperature is measured on the Fahrenheit, then it will be 32 degree. So 0 degree centigrade is equivalent to 32 degree Fahrenheit, and 100 degree centigrade is equal to 212 degree Fahrenheit. The Kelvin temperature scale is absolute temperature scale. This is also called as a absolute temperature scale. Absolute zero, the coldest temperature possible in the universe is 0 degree Kelvin or minus 273 degree Celsius. Because 1 Kelvin is equivalent to the 1 degree Celsius. Okay, so 0 degree centigrade is same as 273 Kelvin. So when we write suppose 10 degree centigrade, then it will be 273 plus 10, that will be 283 Kelvin. So in this way you can represent the temperature on degree Celsius and also in the Kelvin. 15 degree centigrade is same as 288 degree Kelvin. So 273, okay, Kelvin added 15. So that will be 288 degree Kelvin, right? So in this way, we can change the scale, whether it is given in the degree Celsius, so you can convert it into the Kelvin, right? And Kelvin can also be converted to the degree centigrade. Same with the degree centigrade to the Fahrenheit also. Special thermometers are used to indicate the maximum and minimum temperature reached over a period, usually one day. So such type of temperature is used for the temporal variation. Like we want to record the maximum temperature and minimum temperature of a day, then we can use that special thermometer. So this is that special thermometer. For a meter, popular combined maximum and minimum thermometer is U-shaped thermometer. The thermometer is also used to measure the temperature of a ground at night, which may fall several degrees below that of the air above. So here we can get the minimum, okay, minimum temperature, and here we can get the maximum temperature of a day, right? Ways of heat transference. So when a substance get heated, it transfer heat. And how does it happen? The heat energy from the solar radiation is received by the earth through three mechanisms. So solar radiation reaches to the earth, right, by three mechanisms. The first one is radiation. Heat transfer from one body to another without actual contact or movement. There is no contact between the two objects, and the heat transfer is taking from A to B. Suppose this object is heated and it transfers to B. It transfers to B, which is not heated. So the heat transfer to the B. Okay, so this is by radiation process. It is possible in relatively emptier space, for instance, from the sun to the earth through space. So sun is so away from the our planet Earth, right? And sun is heated. Okay, lot of heat is there. So that heat comes to the Earth's surface with the help of radiation. And not only the heat, the light also come. Okay, the solar radiations comes with the light as well as the heat, right? Both are there. So this heat comes to the earth's surface with the help of radiation, though there is no contact in between the two, that is the sun and the earth. Conduction. Heat transfer through matter by the molecular activity. Heat transfer in iron and other metal is by conduction. So when a metal rod is taken and heated at one end, so what happened? The molecules are heated here and the heat is transferred from one molecule to the next, and ultimately when you hold this object with your hand, after some time this particular end also get heated and you will leave this metal rod or the iron rod. Okay, so heat transfer in iron and other metal is by the conduction process. Generally, denser materials like water are a good conductors, and a lighter medium like air is a bad conductor of heat because there is a gaps in that, right? Convection. Transfer of heat energy by the actual transfer of matter or a substance from one place to another. So that is the convection process. Heat transfer by the convection cycle in atmosphere as well as in the ocean. So what happened when the heat energy or the solar radiation, okay, so this is the surface of the earth, solar radiation reaches to the surface of the earth, and this heated surface, the air around the heated surface also get heated up, and it rises, and it rises. So this is the convection process, heat transfer by the convection cycle in the atmosphere as well as in the oceans. Okay, so next is temperature, the interaction of insolation with the atmosphere and the earth's surface. So we are having the earth's surface and we are having the atmosphere above it. This is the atmosphere, right? So this creates heat which is measured in the terms of temperature. While heat represents the molecular movement of particle comprising a substance, the temperature is measured in the degree of how hot or a cold a substance or a place is. Okay, so that is the measurement of the heat. Okay, so heat represents the molecular movement of a particle comprising a substance. So transfers of the heat is there from particle to particle, right? And that is measured, and then it is called as temperature. So we say is that this is the temperature. So degree of hotness or a coldness of a substance or a place is measured in temperature. Factors controlling the temperature distribution. What are the factors that control the temperature? The temperature of air at any place is influenced by the latitude of the place, okay, the altitude of the place, distance from the sea, local aspects, and the presence of warm and cold ocean current. So these are the different factors that controls the distribution of temperature. So we will see one by one. So let us discuss about the latitude. The temperature of a place depends on the insolation received. Okay, how much heat is received? Okay, how much heat is received, that is the temperature of a place for that particular place. It has been explained earlier that the insolation varies according to the latitude, hence the temperature also varies accordingly. So this insolation varies according to the latitude. Okay, so if you see, so this is the globe, this is the equator, this is the Tropic of Cancer, this is Capricorn, and this is the poles, North Pole, South Pole, equator, right? Yeah. So when heat this reaches in the form of solar radiation to the Earth's surface, so at equator it get heated more as comparison to the poles, right? So there is a variation of insolation on the latitude. So latitude is one of the factor that decide that how much the insolation is received at the Earth's surface. Okay, at the polar region, the insolation is less. Okay, the heat received or the solar radiation received by the polar region is having less heat because it has to travel a longer distance and heat is lost there, and loss of heat is there. So that causes this area to get lesser amount of heat. So what is deciding here? The deciding factor, that amount of insolation received by the Earth's surface, is according to the latitude. right? Altitude is also there. In other words, the temperature gradually decreases with the increase in height. So when we go above the Earth's surface, okay, the temperature decreases. The temperature decreases, right? The rate of decrease of temperature with the height is termed as the normal lapse rate. This is very, very important. So what is the normal lapse rate? 1000 meter you go up in the atmosphere. So it is 6.5 degrees centigrade. The temperature get lower down. So that is the normal lapse rate. Okay, the next factor is the distance from the sea. Another factor that influences the temperature is the location of a place with respect to the sea. Where our place is located. That is also a very important factor. So how much we are distant from the sea. Okay. Compared to the land, sea gets heated slowly and loses heat slowly. It takes times to get heated, right? Sea takes time to get heated, okay, and it loses its heat slowly. Land heat up and cools down quickly. Therefore, the variation in the temperature over the sea is less as compared to the land. This is very, very important. And this is the thing that give rise to the sea breeze and the land breeze. Okay, we will discuss later. The places situated near the sea comes under the moderating influence of the sea and land breeze, which moderate the temperature. So here we can see the sea breeze and the land breeze. So air mass and ocean currents. Like the land and sea breeze, the passage of air masses also affects the temperature. Okay. So what happened? Air heated over the land during and rising. So here what happened? The air get heated and rises. So here it creates a low pressure area. Low pressure area, right? And the air above the sea is having high pressure, because it takes time to get heated. So the air is there, but at the land, the air get heated quickly and it rises. So it creates a low pressure area. So the air moves from high to low pressure, and that give rise to the sea breeze. And this happened during the daytime. The land breeze, it's totally opposite to the sea breeze. What happened here? The water get heated during the daytime, okay, and it takes time to get cooler. So warmer air over the water, over this sea, warmer air, it get rises. So here we are having low pressure area. Low pressure area. And the air above the land gets cooled down. The land gets cooled down quickly and there is a high pressure. So again, the air moves from high pressure to the low pressure. This time it is in opposite direction, from land to sea. So that is why it is called as land breeze. And this occurs during the night. Okay. So here are some differences between sea breeze and land breeze. Sea breeze and land breeze occurs in daytime. Sea breeze occur in daytime and land breeze occur in nighttime. We have just now seen that. Flows from sea. So the wind moving from sea to the land, so flows from the sea. And here the wind is moving from land to the sea, land to the sea, right? So it is flowing from land, okay, and here from sea to land. Have more moisture than land breeze. This time it is having more moisture, and do not have more moisture because in the sea breeze, it is coming, the wind is coming over the sea, so it is laden with the lot of moisture. But here in this case, in the case of land breeze, the wind is moving from the land to the seaside, so the air which is above the land, it is having less moisture as compared to the sea. Occurrence depends on the topography of the coast to the greater extent, and occurrence depends upon the topography of the land, that to little extent. Just opposite. Modifies weather on hot summer afternoon, and it produces cooler winter and the warmer summer. So this is the very important difference between the sea breeze and the land breeze. Air mass and ocean currents. So the place which comes under the influence of warm air masses experiences higher temperature. So it's very obvious that warm air, where there is a warm air mass, there the temperature will be high. And the place that comes under the influence of cold air mass, that will have low temperature. So the air mass having a temperature is a crucial for deciding the temperature of that particular place. Similarly, the place located on the coast where the warm ocean currents flow record higher temperature than the place located on the coast where the cold current flows. So cold current, that will having the low temperature, and the warm ocean current, that will have the high temperature. Okay. So the air mass temperature decide the temperature of that particular place. Distribution of temperature. The global distribution of temperature can well be understood by studying the temperature distribution in the January and July month. So here we can see some lines on the world map. What is that? The temperature distribution is generally shown on the map with the help of isotherms. So here in the month of January, 20 degrees centigrade, suppose I'm taking this example 20, so we are drawing a line. So we are drawing a line that is having same temperature. The line which is running in this way, it is having same temperature. So these are called as isotherms, right? So in this way, we can see that on this particular month, which region of the world is having the temperature, same temperature. Okay. The isotherms are the lines joining places having equal temperature. This is very, very important. So these two figures shows the distribution of the surface air temperature. So here what we record, we just record the surface air temperature of that particular place. And when we get the same temperature, we add the places, then we draw the line over the globe or the map, and then we get this isotherms, right? Vertical temperature distribution. So here what we have seen isotherm, that is the horizontal temperature distribution. That was the horizontal temperature distribution. Now there is a vertical temperature distribution. Normally temperature decreases with an increase in elevation, and it is called normal lapse rate. The average rate of temperature decreases upward in the troposphere is about 6 degrees centigrade per kilometer. extending to the tropopause. So this normal lapse rate, it starts from the Earth's surface and reaches up to the tropopause. Tropopause. This is the transition zone between the troposphere and the stratosphere. So this is our troposphere. This we have already completed in our previous session. This is stratosphere. So this particular lapse rate, that is 6 degrees centigrade per kilometer, we can see in the troposphere region only up to the tropopause, right? So this is termed as the vertical temperature gradient. This is termed as vertical temperature gradient. The normal lapse rate is not always the same, but it differs depending upon the height, season, latitude, and other numerous local factors. Inversion of temperature. Normally, the temperature decreases with the increase in elevation. Okay, so when we go up in the atmosphere, right, then the temperature decreases. So this is called the normal lapse rate. At times the situation is reversed, the normal rate is inverted. So when we come down, then it is the reversal of the normal lapse rate. Inversion of temperature. This is called as the inversion of temperature when we comes down and there is a normal lapse rate decreasing. So inversion is usually a short duration but quite common. It is quite common. The long winter night with clear skies and still air is ideal situation for the inversion. So this is all about the temperature. Okay. So we will meet with one more session. Till then, thank you very much.